last year's winner, and Tout, Tom Scudamore. 2 Noble Endeavour looking for a Gordon Elliott double. Davy Russell aboard, and number 3 is Theatre Guide for Paddy Brennan in the Q-Card colours. Number 4 is Cheltenham, Gordon's other runner, with Brian Cooper aboard, and 5 Vicomte de Noyer for Harry Cobden. Number 6 Anacotti, Ian Popham, and 7 the Young Master for Sam Whaley-Cohen, claiming 3. 8 La Belle des Obeaux for Wayne Hutchinson. 9 Holywell, having his 3rd appearance in the race, Richie McClernand. 10 is Junction 14, Leighton Aspel, and 11 the Druid's Nephew, one of those past winners, for Noel Feely. 12 Ibis Terreur, a former festival winner, Sam Twiston-Davis, and 13 Measure of My Dreams, Sean Flanagan. 14 Buywise, Adam Wedge, and 15 Kulu, Brian Hughes, and still they come. 16 Kai de Burley, big day for Stan Shepherd, claiming 5. 17 Henry Parry Morgan for Sean Bowen, and 18 Single Farm Payment, Adrian Heskin. 19 Pilgrim's Bay for James Best, and 20 Go Conquer and Aidan Coleman. Number 21 the non-runner Anthony, who had a temperature this morning. 22 A Good Skin, Richard Johnson. 23 Vintage Cloud, Sean Quinlan, and 24 Victor Tuzane. 3 miles and a furlong, starting point at the entrance to the home straight on the round.
There's a good chance we might not pick the winner.
I'd agree with that, actually, on past form.
That's true, yeah. You're not wrong. The Druid's nephew, Neil Mulholland, as we saw earlier, he's a very good trainer, wins a lot of big handicaps. That's not a coincidence.
So what's going through your mind here, AP? Where do you need to be?
Good position is
handicap
everything.
chase, big field.
Good position is everything to start with, because you don't know what sort of pace they're going to go.
That's a fantastic sight. Richard Hoyles.
And the start is much improved, Ed, as well, because it used to be between the 2 fences in the home straight, but they've moved the second last a little further up the straight, and they now have a good long run in here, which makes it a little bit easier for the starter. Everyone's anxious to get on with it, apart from Pilgrim's Bay rider, who won't want to hit the front until the last 50 yards, as he did at Kempton the other day. But they're coming forward in a wall of about 10 or 12 horses. Most competitive race of the festival so far, the Ultima Handicap Chase. Starters happy, and away they go. Henry Parry Morgan, Temps, and Go Conquer amongst the front wave. Holywell also just being chased up to a Dr. Handy position with Anacotti as they head towards the first of the fences. Anacotti will rise just about in front. A peck by Victor Tuzane. Kai de Burley is a faller at the first. Kai de Burley is out of the race at the first. Anacotti leads him over the second, at which Holywell made a mistake. Pilgrim's Bay is towards the rear of the field, and Cheltenham. Rider Stan Shepherd's yet to get to his feet on Kai de Burley, but the horse is perfectly okay as Anacotti leads them, moving away from the stand. So Anacotti it is who leads from Go Conquer. Henry Parry Morgan settles in third early on, with Vintage Clouds Holywell towards the inside within Temps as they stretch over the next. Noble Endeavours in 7th place with Single Farm Payment, La Belle des Obeaux and Measure of My Dreams. Ibis Terreurs towards the inside with Theatre Guide, then A Good Skin, the Druid's Nephew, Victor Tuzane. Vicomte de Noyer with Buywise. Kulok has 3 behind, their Pilgrim's Bay, Junction 14, and Cheltenham is last of all. So making the turn towards the next fence, and again they all appear to have got over that safely. The runners making their journey then on towards the next obstacle, which is the water jump. Anacotti racing on the inside of Go Conquer as they step over that with Henry Parry Morgan. Holywell hasn't got into much of a rhythm so far, and once again was chased away on landing, and his rider has given him a reminder in about 6th place, the very pale colours, as they head towards an open ditch. Anacotti leads them over it with Go Conquer. Whole field over. The Junction 14 is getting a little bit behind the others now, and it's about 5 lengths off the back end. That was an open ditch, as a plain fence before we get the second of the ditches. Anacotti leading Go Conquer with Henry Parry Morgan taking it in 3rd place. Once again they're all over safely, and Temps towards the outside with Vintage Clouds. On the inside is the Young Master just ahead of Noble Endeavour. Single Farm Payment up the inside of Holywell with La Belle des Obeaux as they turn, and they'll encounter the next open ditch. Go Conquer on the outside of Anacotti. They take it together, and again the whole field over safely. Still Junction 14 and Cheltenham, the 2 back markers. So now they'll reach the top of the hill and begin the turn back down towards the home straight with Anacotti and Go Conquer cutting out the running. Henry Parry Morgan in those maroon colours on the inside of the grey Vintage Clouds, and then Temps. The Young Master ahead of Holywell with Single Farm Payment and the white cap of Measure of My Dreams. The Druid's Nephew's out wide on the course, the noseband towards the outside with La Belle des Obeaux, then Ibis Terreur, as they've just about made the descent towards what will be the 3rd last in the circuit's time, and it's Anacotti and Go Conquer who lead the field over that fence again. And again, the whole field are over. Junction 14 getting increasingly remote, however, in company with Cheltenham. Still Pilgrim's Bay, as is his wont, is settled towards the rear of the field. So now just about got a circuit under our belts. The only casualty, Kai de Burley, who came down very early on, and it's Anacotti and Go Conquer who've taken them through this first circuit, with in third place Vintage Clouds, the grey, disputing that with Temps pour Tout, last year's winner, and then Henry Parry Morgan. The young master up the inside with Holywell and Singlefarmpayment as they make the first of the two in the home straight. Druid's Nephew just pecked slightly. La Belle des Obeaux improves towards the outside. The field largely intact. Hit them over the fence. It'll be the last in the circuit's time. Vicomte de Noyer blundered badly towards the rear of the field there, the grey horse. And he only has now junction 14 behind. So out on the final circuit they go, 9 fences to take, and Anacotti and Go Conquer are beginning to press on. There's 4 lengths back to the young master, who disputes third with Henry Parry Morgan and Temps pour Tout, as Go Conquer leads them over that. Vintage Clouds took it ahead of Singlefarmpayment. Another slow jump by Holywell, passed by a whole host of horses this time. Noble Endeavour, Ibis Dureur amongst them. The Druid's Nephew, La Belle des Obeaux, and Holywell, after that error, has quickly been pulled up. So Holywell pulled up and out of the race after that error, as Anacotti and Go Conquer lead them on towards the next, and Go Conquer jumping boldly, watching the field over as they begin to spring out. And at the rear of the field, junction 14 is still just about continuing, but is tailed off. So this is the water jump for the final time. Anacotti and Go Conquer with Temps pour Tout in third place. Vintage Clouds passed by Henry Parry Morgan, Victor Touzane up the outside as the young master receives reminders. Singlefarmpayment's in about 7th or 8th place, just ahead of Noble Endeavour and La Belle des Obeaux, as Go Conquer leads them over the 6th from the finish. And still just about in touch, Pilgrim's Bay towards the outside. La Belle des Obeaux, Theatre Guide is improving amongst horses as they make the turn on towards the next, and Go Conquer it is with 5 left to take, who's really trying to break this field apart. Go Conquer leading from Anacotti. Third place for Temps pour Tout. Victor Touzane's made good ground, the grey in the pale blue colours. Then the young master, Singlefarmpayment. Pilgrim's Bay carting himself into the race now in red and yellow. Henry Parry Morgan's on the retreat, then Noble Endeavour. Also getting involved is Buywise, creeping up the inside. Then the Druid's Nephew from La Belle des Obeaux and Theatre Guide, as they've now got the turn downhill towards the third last. Go Conquer's given Aidan Coleman a cracking ride to this point and still has the advantage. And Temps pour Tout in second, then Victor Touzane. Pilgrim's Bay's been flushed out and just forced to break cover. Red and yellow colours towards the outside of Vintage Clouds. Then Singlefarmpayment, who's making good progress. Then the young master towards the inside, Buywise. Noble Endeavour in the stripes. Then the Druid's Nephew, Anacotti's given way. Measure of My Dreams is trying to make ground. 3 from the finish. Go Conquer out in front, takes the third last from Temps pour Tout. Then towards the outside, Vintage Clouds. Pilgrim's Bay still being nursed. Singlefarmpayment and Noble Endeavour travelling well. Old Buywise in the red cap towards the inside, about 7th or 8th as they prepare to take the turn. And then these 2 fences which will come up thick and fast. Go Conquer still out in front, leads the way, and Temps pour Tout, Singlefarmpayment travelling strongly just behind the leaders. Then Noble Endeavour in the stripes, Buywise and the grey Vintage Clouds. It concerns these 6. Go Conquer still leads, stretches over 2 from home. A Paula Vintage Clouds went back in 5th place. Also blundering unseating back in the field. Another horse of Singlefarmpayment jumps to the lead at the last. Singlefarmpayment out in front from Temps pour Tout. Then Noble Endeavour, Singlefarmpayment and Temps pour Tout not giving up his prize without a fight. Last year's winner rallying, and Temps pour Tout getting to Singlefarmpayment. They hit the line just about together. And Temps pour Tout's rider celebrates as if he thinks he's won it. Singlefarmpayment, Noble Endeavour, Buywise, Go Conquer. Behind these was in 6th place the young master, the Druid's Nephew, Theatre Guide. Then Clarkham, who passed beaten forces. It is officially a photograph. But the celebrations suggest that Tom Scudamore thinks that Temps pour Tout for the 2nd year running has won the Ultima. Horse on the near side, and Temps pour Tout, far side Singlefarmpayment. They stretch for the line, and Temps pour Tout on that has won it for the 2nd year in a row and defied top weight. Hasn't been called yet, but Tom Scudamore, I think, has the right to celebrate. Haven't heard the judge's official announcement yet, but on that it looks as if Temps pour Tout has, for the 2nd year in a row, landed the Ultima Handicap Chase.